Okay, so I just wanted to have a look at how we handle data that's presented in a graphical form rather than as a table or list. So keeping with the test batting, I'm going to look at David Warner's test batting record. What I've got is I've got a column graph showing all of his test runs scored and the frequency of them up here. Now look at how we calculate the mean, the mode, the median. Now the mode's easy because the mode is just simply the highest column. So the highest column up here goes to 3, but it's the score that is the mode. So very quickly I can see that the mode is in fact equal to 8. That was an easy one to do. Now for the mean, what I want to do for the mean is I want to actually probably use my calculator for this one. I'll show you how to work it on the Casio again. So just recall that to get into stat mode you go mode to stat, and then I say one variable. And I should come up with a little table that says X and frequency. I have discovered that if you don't have this frequency column, there is a way to turn it on and off, and I'll put a little link on our website to a useful reference sheet for that. Okay, so what I want to do is I want each score. So my first score over here is 0, so I enter the 0, press equals. It comes a frequency of 1, and that's not quite right. It has a frequency of 2, and press equals. And I can just use this replay button to jump across. So my next score 2. Now when I press equals, the default is 1 in the frequency, so that's okay. 3, and I press equals, I have to come back across and change its frequency to 2. Oops, and then I'll press equals. And so 4 equals, frequency comes up as 1. Again 5, when I press equals, I have to go back across and change that frequency to 2. Okay, I'll quickly finish entering those. Okay, so I've just finished entering all those scores, and I have my little frequency distribution table here in my calculator showing me each score and how often they occur. So now what I want to do, if you remember, to get the mean, I want to clear that screen. I want to go Shift and Stat, and I want to find a variable, so I'm going to press 4. Now out of this list here, n little x bar, n sigma n, and so on, it's the x bar, it's number 2 that gives me the mean. So I press 2 and equals, and straight away I get David Warner's batting average 36.39. So his mean is equal to 36.4 to 1 decimal place. And if I have a look at these two scores, and I have a look at the spread of scores for David Warner, I can once again say, well, the mode is probably not the score that best measures or represents his test batting. So once again, I can cancel that one out. I've got the mean, 36.4, so that's somewhere around here. And lots of scores above it, lots of scores below it. Maybe it's a pretty good measure. So the next thing I want to do is find the median. Now in a graph, it's a bit like in a table, and to find the median, I want to find the middle score. So first I'll need to know how many scores there are altogether. So I'll have to count them up. So I'll go up each column. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5, plus 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and so on, adding all the columns. And what I'll find is that the number of times I've got here is 38. So there's 38 scores along here. Now if I want to find the median with an even number of scores, I go, okay, so 38 divided by 2 gives me 19. So you might think I'm looking at the 19th score, but with an even number of scores there's always 2 in the middle. So what I actually want is to find the 19th and the 20th scores, and then I want to divide them by 2 to calculate my median. I want to average those 2 middle scores out. So to do that again I need to count across, so I need to find 20th score. So again I'm going to go 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 score, 20th score. So I've just counted how many times the frequency until I get to 19. And I see that this is 23 plus 26 divided by 2. And so to average that out, it gives me a median of 24.5. So again, 3 statistics for David Warner. Test batting record, and again if I look at these ones again, I think the median once again does probably not sum up his test batting career when you look at the number of scores he has up here. Some very high scores. So I'm going to say if I want to sum up David Warner, I'm going to take his mean of 36.4. They're all measures of central tendency. They're what the centre of the score tend to be. Sometimes they're useful to us, sometimes they're not necessarily a good measure of central tendency. One other thing I haven't dealt with is what we'd call a range. I'm pretty confident you already know what the range is, but to get the range, I want to take the highest score and subtract the lowest score. So for David Warner, highest score of 180, lowest score of 0, the range is actually equal to 180. Now this is a measure of spread. Realistically, it's not a very useful measure of spread, and later on we'll look at some much better measures of spread that we can use to give us an idea of how consistent our batsmen have been.